Bitcoin is breaking here right now over $122,000, which is absolutely insane. And many people did not expect that we are going that fast, that much higher. I will show you what you can do if you're sidelined right now, because there are some signs, if you know how to read them, to get actually in the market right now. And of course, I'm gonna show you so much more content that I have prepared for you here that is really, really important that we have to go over, and so much more. So definitely don't miss out on that, and let's go. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in here on this Monday morning, really, really early morning. Usually I don't do live streams that early, but I had yesterday some difficulties to actually get a stream up and running. I'm playing around with some things here to actually get the stream distributed, not only on YouTube, but also in other places, and messed everything around. But now I'm here. That's why really, really good that Bitcoin is breaking out this morning. So I had the opportunity to make a stream earlier today. I might also do one tonight. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I also will another stream be doing tonight. But now let's jump here straight into the DXY chart. So DXY chart is breaking out a little bit, which is, again, not a huge issue for us because the market is anyway running. And the US Open is happening way, way later. So this can still change here really, really fast in the coming hours, where this can turn around here once again into lower levels. And overall, the direction has not changed yet. We're still not above 98 points here. And even if we would go up, or let's say to 99 points, not the end of the world. And that is the line in the sand for me, where we're definitely going to get a massive rejection to the downside with further continuation then in our risk on assets. And we should also not forget that in a little bit more than 2 weeks, we have another FOMC meeting where we potentially also get rate cuts. Now the CME chart, because we just reopened the CME markets overnight here, and there is still that CME gap from last Friday, but this was an intraday CME gap. So that happened over the course of Friday before the market was closed. So again, I don't put too much weight onto a CME gap like that, because over the weekend we did not create another CME gap and basically opened more or less around the same price where we closed. And that's why you see here between Friday and now, wait. Where do I have to refresh that? I just wanted to say, here's something. Ah, there we go. So, but why is here not a new CME candle right now? There should be already a new one. That is really strange, guys. There should be one. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it will appear later. But there is, as far as I know, no CME gap between Friday and this morning, because we started to break out just after the daily close and a couple hours before we get the CME opening. Then on the weekly chart, here on that logarithmic growth curve and resistance curve here on the monthly chart, we are not that far away anymore from touching that line here. If we would actually go all the way up to $133,000 this month, and we're not that far away anymore. As you can see here, we can move quite quickly to the upside with the right catalysts. And here, only this month, get this month we're up 15% roughly, 15-16% approximately already. So we could move here another 10% to touch here the upper side of this logarithmic growth curve. It's a tongue breaker a little bit. So, but there's other indicators and resistance areas on lower time frames that suggest that we will actually move a little bit higher than that. So this line might get broken here, and also needs then to be here potentially adjusted. So if I adjust this actually like this, okay, that looks already a little bit more probable here, $140,000, especially when you take into consideration that here on the parallel upward sloping channel here, the top side is at around $150,000, potentially even, if we go here all the way to the end of August, $160,000. And remember what I told you guys. I said if we close last week's weekly candle, this one here, above this upward sloping trend line, the mid-range of that channel, expect that this week we straight gonna continue to pump here into higher levels. And this is exactly what we are seeing here right now. And that's why it's so important that you actually subscribe to the channel and don't miss out on stuff like that, because that was literally said 2 days ago. You know, I said this 2 days ago, watch the weekly close. When the weekly close is coming and we're above that mid-range level, we keep pumping to the upside. Forget then a bigger pullback in the following days. Set from the point of Saturday, I'm gonna also show you potential pullback levels that we could get to in the short term, and we should not ignore. But overall, the direction will remain here now to the upside with such a massive breakout. Here on this weekly chart, this is, I don't know when I actually opened that the last time. It was a couple of months ago, I think. I have to go back and actually look. I have no clue when I opened this one the last time. It was most likely here around that breakout somewhere. So most likely in November. Maybe I opened it again in March. I really cannot recall when I did this the last time. But it is a couple of months ago when I had the last time I look at this. So now, if you look closely, first of all, we were absolutely right here with the overall trajectory, with that fractal that I had pulled out here so many months ago. And now, take a closer look here. We forming on a weekly chart an inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is something that we do rarely, really, really rarely on the weekly chart. And we are breaking right now the neckline here. So if you're looking for a swing trade, this, like on a higher time frame level swing trade, this is right now the moment where you want to get into this, because we are breaking here above that neckline at $114,000 approximately. So could we potentially pull back here and come back to that trend line to test that? Sorry, the neckline. Yes, we could. We could come to the neckline to test it one more time, get a retest and then bounce off. But if you are trading now with low leverage, let's say you trade this with 10x leverage, you will not get liquidated. You know, so I don't think that you will get liquidated if you open right now a 10x leverage trade on Bitcoin and trade the continuation here. So yes, you can be underwater 50% if we pull back to the neckline. Yeah, 40% roughly. But we will not go here back to like $105,000. I definitely don't see that happening here in the short term. So how much room is left here to go to the top side of the channel, which is $165,000 right now? See, here's another 46% to the upside. And every single bull run, we came up here to that line and touched it and got a rejection from there. So this time, who knows? Maybe this time is different because we did not have ETFs the last time and governments buying Bitcoin like crazy, which also never happened before in a bull run. So this could all lead to that we potentially break through this and get higher. And most likely, at the moment where we are breaking here above this, here's something what I believe is going to happen then. We are going above, maybe we close even a weekly candle above that, but the following candle that pushes into the final all-time high, wherever that might be, at a $200,000, $180,000, 200, 240, 260, it doesn't really matter. It will be a huge wick in that candle. And the candle body will either close just above here, that line, or below that line, in the same candle or in the following candle. Once we are getting that break above that line. So if we are getting a break above the line, which I believe is highly likely that in this run we actually do that for the first time ever. Now, here on this weekly chart, also something what I want to remind you of. I said when we are breaking above that resistance area here, continuation will follow. And the first bigger target, short-term target, is $38,644, the 3.618 level. The 3.618. That's what is the next major target on the weekly chart before we get any meaningful correction here. And meaningful correction is something past 10% of a drop in Bitcoin. I don't see that happening any time before that right now. Besides getting into a range of 100. We're going to get through that chart here in a second. I think it's 115 135 to 136. It's 136,000. Yeah, 136,000 to 140,000. I think that is the range that we're going to go first before we get here any meaningful pullback, which is exceeding 10%. So now, if you want to take one of these major swing trades with me together, or some of the short-term trades, guys, then go to BloFin and sign up there. The more you trade right now, the higher will be actually the item that you will get from them. So it can be a Rolex, it can be an iPhone, a MacBook, an Apple Vision Pro. Depends on how much you are trading, but in a bull market, I tell you, it's really easy to get any of this. Really easy, and you can also convert it into a cash price if you want. There is a link in the description if you want to sign up there, and if you deposit $100 and sign up with the link right now, you're in a $500 giveaway for next Sunday. I will do a live giveaway for last Sunday, because I was supposed to do that yesterday and then I had problems. So we're going to do it live here, but I have to improvise it a little bit. So I'm going to do that here on the side when I have a minute to collect all the people that have signed up between last Monday and yesterday. And then I'm going to pick 5 winners for that. So here on the daily chart, you see here why also massive continuation candle to the upside. The MACD is, I have not seen a MACD in a long time that bullish here. As long as we are flying like this, we keep pushing also here into higher levels. Do I believe that we're going to reach here 130,000 by today? Don't really believe that, but we could see here definitely some continuation over this coming week here into the $130,000 level. On the Elliott wave count, we are now in the middle, more or less. And here's something that I wanted to show you actually. You see here, I think it was on this chart here, the 2.618 from where I pulled the Fibonacci levels is at $130,372. Here, on the Elliott wave count, the 1.5 level is also at $130,700 approximately. So that tells you that the wave 3 count will most likely stop somewhere here in that golden ratio. So 1.5, 1.618, maybe, like I said, we go to all the way up to $140,000. That also happens sometimes that we overshoot a little bit. But somewhere in that range will the wave 3 count stop, in my opinion. So, and that is not a bad thing. You know, it just tells you that we have right now already confluence on the chart telling us that there somewhere will be the local top. I'm not saying the final all-time high, but there will be a local top from where we get then the pullback. And that's why I'm saying until then I'm not seeing any major substantial pullback happening on the chart before we are reaching these price levels here. And then we start the wave 4 count, where we most likely then come back to a support level that we have formed on the way up. So, and that could be somewhere here. Technically, it can also be happening here somewhere where we are forming a short-term support bottom, and that will be then the target for that wave 3 before we go into the final wave 5 here. On this daily chart, some warning signs still happening here, because you see that we keep being outside the Bollinger Band. So, and I want to go back now to show you what happens when we are too long out of the Bollinger Band. We can take this here as an example over here. So you see here we started to break out of the Bollinger Band. The same thing what we're doing right now. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe, yeah, 4 days we stayed out of the Bollinger Band. Then we started to pull back, came back into the Bollinger Band, and then we just kept pushing within the Bollinger Band and also went here gradually higher. So, and that is something that I see playing out here right now. For us again, we are already 4 candles out of the Bollinger Band. And by tomorrow or after tomorrow, we should get a pullback back into the Bollinger Band. This cannot go on forever. It never did, guys. It never did. It never happened that we were for more than, I think, 5 or 6 days outside the Bollinger Band on a daily chart. So, and that just tells you that with Bitcoin you have to be a little bit careful, because you don't know when the music stops right now. because we have so much euphoria in the market while everything is going up, and also FOMO kicks in right now for a lot of people. And you have to understand that when we are already 4 days, technically 5 days right now out of the Bollinger Band, that this cannot go on forever. And there will come the day, most likely today or tomorrow or after tomorrow, where you're gonna get a candle that pulls us back into. So, and that could be a 5% drop, you know, that could be a 4, 5, 6% drop. But again, this is not the major pullback that I'm looking for. It will be, of course, a pullback that hurt a lot of people in their altcoins potentially, unless the rotation is fast enough where you merely feel that, which happened also in the past. But I would be a little bit careful here, at least when you're trading Bitcoin, and we are about here in the next 48 hours potentially get a 5-6% correction. And on the 1 hourly chart, the 1 hourly chart is one of the charts that I'm looking at to currently find entries if I want to trade continuation for Bitcoin. And you had here a chance earlier in that cluster. So that was, you can make the argument that this was somewhat of a bull flag. For me, that's not really a bull flag because the angle of the pole, you know, so is pretty weird to me, you know. So, but even if you would do that, we would have reached the target already, you know. So I see people sometimes charting like that, and it hurts my eyes, you know. It hurts my eyes when I see this. But yeah, they argue that, oh look, it actually worked, you know. So, but this is not a proper bull flag to me. But regardless, you know. So what would be for me just more important is that I see, okay, here the resistance was broken. There's my entry. I trade this now to Valhalla. Wherever I feel like I want to get out of it, I get out of it, you know. So, but not these weird drawings that I see sometimes. So because here, for example, right now, if you would have entered that trade, you would be up 3%. Let's say you traded with 20x leverage, 60% in a profit. When I see here the RSI being already heavily overbought, stochastic turning around here in like 12 minutes with a sell signal, I get also here cautious, you know. I'd rather take the money and run unless I have here a really good entry from, let's say from here, from $111,000, and don't care if we drop now back to 118, for example. Then here on the 15 minutes chart, here you basically see that we are starting to go absolutely parabolic. Let me actually draw in here parabolic curve, and I have to start here. Yeah, so this looks like that we start to consolidate here in the next coming minutes, because we are going here heavily up in a 90-degree angle already. So when you see price basically going up vertically, then usually we start to come down a little bit, consolidate, and then you get a continuation move. So, and this is most likely what's going to happen here anytime soon. And this might be for you a chance to get into a trade, you know. So what I look for on the 15 minutes chart in parabolic runs like that is a small cool down phase, something like this here. We just chop a little bit, and you had here 3 times basically confirming resistance at this level here, and the same more or less on the bottom here, that moment where we broke that big resistance. And then here, 1, 2, 3. And then you know, okay, this is now the range that we are consolidating in before we get the next leg to the upside. Then it depends on a risk appetite. If you say, okay, I'm gonna risk to go in down here, on top of that former resistance area, which has now been turned into support, and I have a 4-time confirmation because you have to break, then 1, 2, 3, 4. And take that risk to get in here, or you say, okay, I'm not that crazy, you know, so I don't like that much risk in my trade, so I rather wait that the upside resistance is broken and you enter from there. So, and like I said, that would have been $119,400, and to the top, that would have been almost 3%, but really quickly, you know. So when you look at this, 1 hour, 2 hour, within 3 hours. So basically every hour 1%, you know. So, and depending on how much leverage you use, that is good money in that short amount of time. So, and this is what I'm looking for when I see something going parabolic, you know, to find an entry. So, but you also need to be aware of where you set your stop losses. So here in that case, I would have set my stop loss just below that resistance here. So here, when I look at these candles, yeah, most likely, yeah, here, there would have been my stop loss in that case. And it would have never been touched. Would have never been touched because Bitcoin just kept going, going, going. So, and this is also what I look for in altcoins in a bull market, because everything is moving so fast. If you are not able to spot where you can get potential entries, you're going to be sidelined for the majority of the run. You know, so that's why I held through yesterday, where most of my positions were either break even or in a loss. But I knew by come today, most likely they're going to rip. And that's what actually happened. And I'm going to show that to you here in a second, how they're actually doing. We had here a bearish divergence on the 4-hourly chart. And I want also to point out here that I actually posted this on Twitter, but I think I also mentioned in my last video, that if we break here above that upward sloping trend line, the divergence is invalidated. And that's basically what happened. And we started to go higher. And now most likely here somewhere we're going to form potentially another bearish divergence. And then we're going to reassess if that actually will break or not. Then here on this 4-hourly chart, just again, another confluence sign here for me, that at one point we're going to get here a 4, 5, 6% downwards move, is that the 20 moving average is now really far away from the price. So, and you can see here, just look from here, the price always were close, even when we went up here a little bit, always also came back to the 20 moving average and held on to that until we start to come move here parabolic. And even then, the 20 caught up and we got close to it again, now again parabolic. And for that reason, I believe that here soon, like I said, potentially in the next 24, 48 hours, price will come back, get closer to the 20 moving average again. The 20 moving average cannot catch up fast enough right now to get close to the price, because price is just going too fast parabolic. And that is also always a sign that we are getting at some point a pullback into these levels to confirm here again support, that there is still support, basically a live sign that, hey, I'm still alive, you know, we can still keep going, let's keep the party running here. And for that simple reason, we need to get that, you know, so at some point. So it's absolutely normal, nothing to be worried about. Where you should start paying attention is when we break below the 50 moving average. So when you see price just collapsing like this, that is where you have potentially to close your trades, then hopefully are in a profit still then, and then see how low we drop. Now on the MDX Algo Scalp gradients here happened something that I have seen before, but also for me always a sign to be more cautious, is that you get here price heating up on the gradients, like here, and you got here a dot plot, which was a reversal indication, and then you get a pump, get a take profit dot plot, another dot plot, then we form here support, and then you get another run. So what's happening now most likely is at some point you get another consolidation, maybe another take profit signal, and you get the next leg to the upside. But up here, like I said, up here, that is where we're going to pull back, because the reactor indicator is here massively overheated. So when the reactor indicator is that overheated, pullback is usually coming swiftly. On the liquidation levels, so here we are building up now these zones that I talked about. If you can recall, I had mentioned that here last week, where I said, wait for the time when people think the market will just keep going higher, and they will come in with late long positions, and there we're going to see liquidity building up. So instead of 110, where I thought would be the first cluster down here, and that was also mentioned, I said if it's not happening down here, it will happen up here and here. Instead of there, it happened now around 111,500 to 112,700, and from 115,560 to 117,750 approximately. So this here, of course, this will be the first major target when price starts collapsing and turns around. And that might be also the first major bounce area if we just get a shallow drop. So that would be considered a shallow drop here, start consolidating a little bit and continue to go higher. So a steeper drop and a proper pullback would be all the way down here to $111,000. look at the percentage that would be here measured from the current, only from the current top, if we would not go higher, that would be already almost a 10% drop here. So like I said, I expect, regardless how high Bitcoin goes, that we get at least a 10% proper pullback here, a 10% correction from $130,000, $140,000, potentially even lower. So depending on how much liquidity is building up here. So let's go all the way up to $140,000. And then we talk in a second about altcoins. So let's say we go to $140,000. Liquidity builds up on the way up. So there's some here around 126. Let's say some super late long positions come in here, but then the next one is down here at $116,000. So a correction to $116,000 from $140,000 is 17.65%. And this is not unusual in a bull run to get such a correction in Bitcoin. And trust me, a correction like that will be happening. Don't be fooled right now with the price action in Bitcoin and small pullbacks here that we got, really, really tiny ones, that this is now what's going to last through the bull run, what keeps happening through the bull run. This is not what will be the norm, so the norm will be a 17, 18%, somewhere between 10 and 17, 18, maybe even 20%. That will be the kind of pullback that I expect here once we're getting a proper one. On the liquidation heat map, things have also changed dramatically over the last couple of hours. So I actually have now to go to a monthly chart that we actually see something. See, to the upside, there is almost no liquidity to be taken anymore. That doesn't mean that we cannot go higher, but you see here the areas of interest. So again, major area of interest, $116,700, close to 117 that I just mentioned, all the way down to 115,300. I said 115,600 on the liquidation levels. So here you see there's already a major area of interest where price will most likely go to when there's no upside liquidity to be taken anymore, and no new fresh money will come in here where, yeah, you see here there's nothing above us anymore to keep fueling this rally. So when there's no fuel anymore to push higher, price will come down, and these will be then the areas where we're gonna go first. So and then here on the way down, here around $112,000 would be then the next major area that we're gonna pull back to. So then altcoins start to go now here ballistic. You see that was 35. That was when I started preparing the stream, 35. Now we're at 37. I warned you about this, that you should buy altcoins when we were here around 25 2 days ago. I said buy them now with the positions that I had given to you, because this can go fast, really fast, now to the upside. 37 is also a resistance area here when you look here at that line where we are. So there, resistance point. Here it broke that point, there retest. Here again, broke it again. So here we broke it to the downside. Since then, this level was resistance. Now we are above that level. So if we keep pushing, so if we keep going up here, then by the end of the week, this week, we are at around 50. So you have to get into positions now quickly, because this chart here will go also parabolic in the next coming days. And I'm going to give you here in a second some positions that you can still take here where you are not too late. So the dominance is moving it back to the upside a little bit, but that's because everybody goes into Bitcoin right now. Because when you wake up and you look at Bitcoin and Bitcoin is up, I actually did not check how much Bitcoin is up this morning alone, but it must be like 4%, 4% on Bitcoin and over $120,000. A lot of people think like, oh, shit, forget about my altcoins, I go on Bitcoin, this thing is going to the moon right now, it's going parabolic, So that's why you see the dominance turning around a little bit. But I think over the course of the day, it will come back down. So and as long as we are staying now below 65%, I expect here over the next couple of days, massive continuation to the downside. We saw some early signs of crazy moves in altcoins already. I'm going to show you these coins also. But this was just a small taste, that was like the tiniest bite of a nice steak that you could get, So we're not even close to what's actually happening here. So here the total free market cap also totally exploding into higher levels. I mentioned that when we stay above 926 billion. We're going to get here to $1 trillion fairly quickly. We went all the way up to 970 today already. So do we reach $1 trillion today? Depends on what's happening after the US market is opening. Could be definitely possible that we are seeing that. Otherwise, by tomorrow, by tomorrow, we're going to scratch on $1 trillion in total market cap, and you're going to see that then reflecting on altcoins. The Ethereum Bitcoin chart is finally above that upward sloping former resistance level. Also here, last week, I think, definitely last week. Last week, I mentioned to you guys, if we close last week's candle, this one here, the green one, above that, expect continuation to the upside. This candle was earlier green before I started the stream, now went and pulled back a little bit. But over the course of the week, you're going to see that going to expand to the upside. Ethereum will be 3,300, 3,500, most likely by the end of the week. So some of the altcoins trade that I have currently running is here Aptos. I showed you Aptos yesterday when this was over $1,000 in a loss. On the high side, it was up $2,500 today already. So it's now around $2,000. And a new trade that I took yesterday was Avi. And that was also just break even, minus $50 or something like that. Also 60% up right now. And remember, I said I built the Avi trade slowly and small, and then I start scaling. So I'm not at the moment there yet where I'm going to start scaling, but that looks already pretty good here to me, So, and I also crank up then the leverage on Aptos really soon. I'm also just waiting here just a little bit more, not much, but a little bit more before I crank up the leverage here. So if you want to trade altcoins with me together, guys, sign up on Bybit. You get $30,000 in sign up and deposit bonuses there, plus a Bybit card if you're eligible for that, plus 20% cashback right now on the Bybit card. So I keep spending with my card like crazy. And something really, insane happened yesterday. I lost my physical card a long time ago in a car actually that drives me all the time, and it never showed up again. Maybe somebody found it. The card is gone for like 6 months, I think. I think I lost that maybe longer than that. So I actually think I lost that card. When was I? I lost that card 7 months ago. 7 months ago. And yesterday in the US, all over the place, somebody tried spending with that card, which of course did not work, So because I have some security measures specifically on that card, that if somebody tries stuff like that, it's not working, So in the UK, in the US, and then at some point the card got frozen, so now I actually have to get a new one. And I did not do that because I just tap everything, And it's annoying when you have charges on the card that are also like subscriptions and stuff like that, and then for like 2-3 days, nothing can get booked on the actual card. Imagine your bank card, it's the same thing. You have to get a new bank card, your account is blocked, everything that tries to charge your account cannot charge. So it's just annoying. That's why I never did that. Never got a new card. But yesterday, I got like over 100 charges, attempted charges on my card where somebody tried to use my card, which of course, like I said, did not work. But anyway, let's get here into Ethereum. It was just something funny, when I saw that while I was at the beach. Ethereum just broke out of that bull flag here. And that might be the next trade for Ethereum for you. If you missed here the overall bigger setup that we are playing here since, when did we broke above that? Oh, wow, 5 days. I was thinking, 4-hourly chart. I was thinking this was going on for way longer than that because I thought this is a daily chart. Yeah, but 5 days is not crazy. So here, the target is $3,270. We are at $3,031. So there's still a nice chunk of profits to be made if you enter this right now of 7.9% roughly. So, but I give you here a warning, a small warning where you should pay attention to. This doji candle right now is something that I don't like. So I would personally, if you want to trade this, I would wait here a little bit. I would see if we actually close this candle as it is, and if the next candle is actually going to the upside. If it's not going to the upside and it goes sideways or down, wait, because you will get a better entry. So, and wherever then this move stops, so in the next 4-hourly candle, in the following 4-hourly candle, somewhere it's going to stop, that is where you enter. So it could be down here, just below $3,000. It could be just slightly above $3,000. But the next potential candle could pull back in that area if we are not getting here the current 4 hourly kind of moving a little bit higher. So like I said, you could enter this right now, but then you have to set a proper stop loss, and the stop loss would be for me here at $2,960 roughly, you know, so just to protect yourself. If it actually turns around, you know, and would come down all the way to the bottom, you get a better entry, you just re-enter from there, you know, so it would just wobbles around here a little bit, you know, you just keep holding until it turns around and goes then into our target. On the higher time frame here on a daily chart, here you see why $3,270 is definitely in the cards, because here is the next major resistance area. So, and you see here how price is basically attracted to go to that. So, and when I look at this candle here for today, it could happen today that we go all the way up to $3,200. It could be happening. I have seen stuff like that before, where you get here a small 4-day consolidation phase basically, and then here the next candle is going straight into the next major resistance. So we are also pretty close to the overall target here of that trade setup that I had given here from the point of control at $2,500. So once we are reaching that 26.85% for everybody that took the trade. So here, if you're in the trade currently, also set your stop loss at around $2,900. So $2,900 is already 15.3% guaranteed profit, you know, and your trade is risk-free at that in that moment. So definitely do that, guys. If you were able to take the trade from all the way down here, set the stop loss there, you know, in profit, and let it right then into the target. Solana also. Sorry, guys. Sorry for that. Sorry, that is my alerts. Oh, wow. What? I think one of my trades just hit already its target. So let's have a, whoa, really? That was quick. Whoa, gone. I think, yeah, that trade closed already. Insane. I had here a comp trade on BloFin open. So that was that stupid noise. I'm really, really sorry for that. I try to look on TradingView how I can make them not so loud while I'm actually here on the stream. So can I touch it now? Yep, there you see. Boom, one candle. Fuck, what was my target? Oh, okay. 3% higher than my target. So you see here, they're closed really quickly. That trade was open since yesterday, I think. And I warned you guys. That was one of the trades that I had also given to you. Shit, now it keeps going. Fuck. I was hoping that during the stream, I will have the chance to adjust the take profit, because I did this with another coin too that I'm trading. Here I missed it now. Really annoying, because now it will keep pushing. It will keep pushing. We're gonna get there in a moment. Yeah, nice that I made the money, but I'm a little bit upset that I was not able to remove that take profit to let it run a little bit. So, but let's go back to Solana. So here, there, Marcus Reed. Yeah. But you see, that's how fast sometimes it can go here. You know, here 14%. Oh, wow. Yeah, it goes absolutely ballistic right now. Yeah, so I missed out here already on 6%. But that's fine. That's fine. I'm gonna find a new trade here in a moment for me and for us, for all of us. Solana broke here above $165. Also wants to keep going here. It could come back to the top side of $165 here of that former resistance level to confirm that as support. But then we are ready to continue $280. And also this, mark my words, guys, this will happen really, really quickly. You know, really, really quickly. Then here, the bump and run pattern is the reason why we are going to get here at some point in the next coming, 2-3 days, a parabolic candle to $180. Whoa, what was that? Something fell, I think, from in my garden. Don't know what that was. I hope it was on my scooter or something. Yeah, but actually it did not sound like my... Oh no, I know what it was. It was my trash can. I have a trash can outside for drying to dry because I washed it out. That's what it was. At least, you know, my brain sometimes, you know, I have to think about multiple things that could be outside, and I was okay, that sounded like the trash can. So anyway, bump and run pattern. So here, parabolic move, $180, most likely next 48 hours, and we're gonna get that. So if you wanna enter this before it breaks out, because that is a 15% move roughly, look at this trend line here. A 4-hourly close above that trend line is your signal to get into this. So I just, yeah, no, that is a straight line. $167.5 is what you're looking for. So when you get a 4-hourly close above that, because this is currently the resistance, the SR flip line, when we get above that, enter. You know, 4-hourly close above that, that's where you enter, because then the next one will be expansion. The same what we just saw with comp. Now, there we are pulling back. Comp. So here, there was the trade setup that I wanted to share with you guys. And here was my reasoning for that. I wanted to say, hey, look, $48.50 was more or less my entry. And I wanted to tell you guys, hey, if you want to take a trade, take it from there, from that level, and you see what happened afterwards. Straight expansion. So you would have immediately made all the money, you know, so here into that resistance of $51.81, which would have been like roughly 7% move here, you know, only to that level. So now all the way to the top, it was 11.17. So yeah, I missed out on 4%. It's not the end of the world. So, but now we are pulling back, ugly pullback if that is not coming back to the upside. Again, now you want to look at the 15 minutes chart. Here, same thing. You see here, normally you would have entered here in that candle, which would have been fine because you see a small pullback, then lift off. You're going to see that here in many more altcoins before they do explosive moves. And you should not be scared about that, you know, on a 15 minutes chart. You're going to get here, let's say you get in a candle like this here, and then you see 2-3 candles pulling back. But trust me, the reversal candle, that bullish engulfing is coming and sends you straight to Valhalla. So, and this is how I trade personally also many coins right now, you know. So I just look where is the resistance under the 15-minute chart, you know, so, and that should be in alignment with like a 1-hour or 4-hourly chart where we have a resistance. And that's where I'm looking at to enter, then on the 15 minutes chart. And then you see what happens, you know, we straight get sent into higher levels. And here, this looks to me like that we are going to break this here. So I'm actually inclined, too much sand here on my power bank. I'm inclined to go and trade this again. 1 second. Oh, wow, when did she wrote this? Okay, I have soon to finish the stream again because I go to the gym. But I'm still here, guys. We are here already. How long is the stream already going? I saw up here, 43 minutes. Okay, I think we have another 5, 6, 7 minutes that I'm here. So see here, now most likely on a 5-minute chart, we are able to see that. Yeah. When the RSI turns around, that is your sign where you should be back into that trade because it will keep flying, in my opinion. So that is one trade that you can take. I'm not sure if I'm going to touch that because there's better opportunities, in my opinion. For example, here, CRV was flying today already. But look at this. We are almost done with that pullback, you know, on the 50 minutes chart. And we retested support. And this is that the right... Let me check quick. Is this the right chart? For CRV, it might... no, there we go. Yeah, no, it is the right chart that I wanted to look at. So just as you see that here, we pulled already back into support. Here. Sniper pullback, came up, retesting it still. But here, in the next 15-minute candle, most likely what the next 15-minute candle is going to do here is this. Something like this. So I might be inclined to open here a CRV trade. So and if you want to do that, you have to have a higher time frame picture. So let's go to the daily quickly. So here's another reason why I would still enter this, because we are just since yesterday above 64 cents, which was a major resistance support flip level from where we are taking off now in direction of almost 90 cents. And that can also happen really quickly. So from current price to 90 cents, 30% move to the upside. Can happen really quickly. So then the next one, Aptos. So Aptos just pulled back from over 21 cents or something. Because I watched Aptos here on my other, on that other screen that I have over there. Because as you can see on Bybit, I'm currently trading this. Here my target is $7.10. You're not too late to take this trade right now, because we are just above 1% of the original entry. And here on the daily chart, so if I would go to 12-hourly charts, might be already there. For an inverse head and shoulders, not really, but you could argue here is a small cup and handle pattern. That is something where I would say you can definitely. So if this is a cup and handle pattern and we broke here the handle, $5.53 roughly is already the target for that, which is another 6-7% from current, 8%, another 8% move. Another 8% move here. That can happen technically today. So now I have another list. 1 inch. 1 inch was flying here the last couple of days. Like crazy, all the way up to 39 cents almost. So here you see we are coming now into the golden ratio, which is the first potential level where you want to open a new position for that potential bounce back to the upside. So and my target would be here. Oh shit, now my target would be 50 cents from here, all the way up there. So now I can extend it. 50 cents here, 1.65, 1.618. This is what I would be targeting. So and the current level that we are in, that is where I would start building a position. If we break lower, if we go back to 27 cents, you just add there. If we lose here 26 cents, there would be my stop loss. So, but I would keep adding all the way down, because you see here how crazy and parabolic that went the first time. So I think this now is just a briefer. We consolidate a little bit, then you get the next major leg here to the upside. So, and that is a massive leg, you know. So when you look here, just percentage-wise from the current level, that's a 62.5 move to the upside. So, and for right now I see here when we zoom in here a little bit, we got already confirmed support from this downward sloping trend line, which was a massive resistance line here over the last couple months. And we are staying above that. So as long as we're staying above that, it is definitely a good level where you can start building positions from. So I would be careful, you know, do 25% in that green area here, where you ladder into your orders. If we break below that down here, definitely 50. And then on the way back up, when we come back up here, there you add the other 25 and then you let it run. And then you are overall already in profit. I see here the chat a little bit. Yeah, so I'm definitely aware of that. So here's my other list of coins. So XRP also completely ripping to the upside. So Sui another one where you are not too late. You are not too late for Sui. And I'm going to show you why. Do you see it already? We are forming here a massive W pattern on Sui on the daily chart. So once we break $4.20, it will keep sending into a new all-time high, because the target is at $6 something. I have to look at this now. So I'm going to do it with a conservative target. So yeah, $6.50. $6.50 from 420 is like 60% or something. Yeah, 54% more or less. But here comes the but. I would start entering this if I would be not already in a Sui position. So I have already my spot position, but like a new short-term trade on leverage here. That level that we are testing currently, which is resistance, $3.89 roughly. a 1 hourly close above $3.89 and I would enter this, because it can literally go from there straight into $4.23. There we're going to pull back most likely to $4, and then it will break through that the next time and go in the direction of $5, $6, potentially even $7. So, and that is one of the coins that I would not miss out on to trade here on leverage into these targets, you know, because that pattern has not broken out yet. You know, we are on the cusp of breaking it, but we did not yet. So you're not too late to enter this. And you see here, Sui is already trying to move here right now, which is already heavily up today, you know. So that's with Sui, you know. So like I said, 1 hourly close above $3.89, I would start building that position. But being up already 11%, you know, I would be like, I don't know. But don't also be mistaken by percentage numbers, because Algo did in the last 2 days, each day 20%, and today is again up 8%. So, and this is also something that I've seen many, many times in bull runs. That's why I'm looking more at levels, you know, than on the percentage gain that the coin did already over the day, you know. So here you see, for example, again, resistance currently being tested. If we stay above that, it will keep flying. You know, that's why we got rejected here from the next level of resistance. So here it went straight into the next major level of resistance. That got rejected, pushed it back, at the current level that we are at, where we are trying to flip this into support. If this turns into support, it will crush through that resistance that it just tested today, and we'll go here all the way into the target of 55.6%. That trade was given 2 days ago, guys. You know, you could have entered that 2 days ago when I told you, and where I told you guys, wait here for that break that happened yesterday. You know, so you could have been up here today already over 20%. You know, so I'm not counting this here, that 35%, because not many would have gotten out there. But you would be up right now over 20% on that specific trade. So here again, same thing. You know, so when you see here things starting to align, 4 hourly chart, 1 hourly chart, a lot of consolidation here, 15 minutes chart, you know, so here 15 minutes, I might be willing to take a risk here with the next 15-minute candle if it stays above here 28.2 cents to enter this already, and not miss out here on an impulse move into that resistance again. Then the next one, I was mostly on 4 hourly charts here. So AVI, like I said, AVI, one of the other coins that I'm trading right now, also exploding. And I want to show you this again. Many of these coins are breaking right now multi-month downward sloping resistance lines, and that's why they are starting to go absolutely parabolic. So, and when you have here a pullback candle like today on AVI, you know, even in a pullback candle, it's still up 5%. So that just shows you how much strength is in a coin like that, you know, because we were up here another 3%, you know, we were almost 10% up here on AVI just today, and we are just 6 hours in today, you know, so which is a little bit crazy, you know, so, and that can still turn around and push here way, way higher. And my target is here 44.5, almost 6%, $447, which is not yet the all-time high, but the lower high before the all-time high. I had shown this 2 days ago. Let me actually go to the daily chart. So here, there, 667, but here was the lower high all the way there. And here was that resistance area at $447. That's why I'm targeting this first, because that is a target that can be hit in the next coming days. You know, so if AVI starts behaving like Algo or 1 inch, then this is like a 4 or 5 day situation to get up there with a 44.6% return on a trade setup like that. So here, I will not explain that now many more times here. Trend line, pull back to the trend line, there's your entry when we get there. If we are not getting there, look on the 15 minutes chart. If you find a range where we are consolidating in, so that is your range. So as long as we are not dropping massively below the current trend line, we keep going higher. Sorry guys, I have to go. My taxi just arrived, but I will come back later for another stream tonight, and we're going to talk about more altcoins and check on the altcoins that we just talked about, and I'm going to give you more entries. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every person that was on the stream, over 200 today at every given moment on the stream. Amazing. So then don't forget, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you with more money later tonight.